All right, so next in the unit, we're going to talk about how to write a piecewise function that represents a real-world situation. And so first, we have an example. I'm just going to run through some examples and kind of model the process that I want from you. So first, we have a bakery that has the following pricing for large orders of cupcakes. The first 100 cupcakes of any order will cost $2 each. The next 150 cupcakes will be $1.75 each, and then each cupcake ordered that's more than 250 cupcakes will cost $1.25 each. So first, what I want you to do when you're doing these application problems is I want you to define what your variables are going to represent. So X is going to represent the number of cupcakes. The number of cupcakes. Next, you're going to have what happens when you plug the X in, which is you're going to figure out the price that you're paying. So I'm going to say T of X is the total cost. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to kind of map out exactly what's going on. And we're going to kind of do this on a number line, because what you'll notice with piecewise functions is that you have something that defines each different piece. So if we have 0 cupcakes up to 100 cupcakes, we pay $2 each. And you'll notice that the labels that I'm using on this number line are the X values, and then this is my output. So if I plug in 100, because I'm getting 100 cupcakes, my output is going to be $2 each. So 2 times 100 is going to help me figure out my total cost. The next 150 cupcakes, so if I do 100 plus 150, that'd be 250. So all of these cupcakes will cost $1.75 each. And then any cupcakes in excess of 250 are going to be $1.25 each. And then in theory, we could order infinitely many cupcakes, although we know that eventually they're going to run out of time and run out of materials. So I'm going to say my piecewise function, or my total cost, is going to have 3 pieces involved. So the first piece is going to be $2 per cupcake for any number of cupcakes between 0 and 100. So I'm going to say $2 times the number of cupcakes that I have. And that is if the X value is between 0 and 100. And it could equal 0. You could just not order any cupcakes, and then you're paying 2 times 0, which is $0. And it could equal 100 exactly. You could buy 100 cupcakes total. All right, the next one is a little bit trickier, because the next one is saying if we get like 150 cupcakes, then the first 100 cupcakes would have been $2 each. And then we have 50 cupcakes at the lesser price. So what we have to do here is we have to say for this middle bracket, we would have already done 2 times 100. We already would have paid for 100 cupcakes at a price of $2 each. And now we have some more cupcakes that are $1.75 each. But the only cupcakes that are $1.75 are those that were over 100. And so the way that I write that in math is I write X minus 100. So you'll see how it works. We would say if we had 150 cupcakes, that 2 times 100 of those were $2. And 150 minus 100 leaves us 50 cupcakes at $1.75. All right, so if we think about this, if I was to do the math for that, I would say $2 for 100 cupcakes plus $1.75 for 50 cupcakes is what gives me 150 cupcakes. And so the way that I figure out how to write this equation so that I can just plug in the X value for the problem is I do whatever number I'm going to plug in minus 100, and then that tells me how many over 100 are going to have that extra price. Now this is between a cupcake number of 100 and 250. So I'm going to say if X is between 100 and 250, it's going to be anything more than 100, so like 101, and it could be less than or equal to 250. All right, and then the third price would be for any of the cupcakes over 250. So we know that for the first 100 cupcakes we spent $2 each. And then we know that for cupcakes 100 to 250, so I'm going to say 250 minus 100, for the 150 cupcakes in between, here we spent $1.75, and then we're going to spend $1.25 for any cupcakes that are over 250. All right, now this is kind of complicated looking, so what I end up doing is I simplify a little bit, but I wanted you guys to be able to see where the numbers come from. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and leave the first line exactly the same, 2x if x is between 0 and 100. And then here I'm going to say $200 for the first 100 plus 175 times x minus 100 if x is between 100 and 250. And then here we're going to say $200 for the first 100 cupcakes. And then we have to figure out how much money it would have been. 175, 250 minus 100. So it's 175 for the next 150 cupcakes is 262.50. So this is 200, this is 262.50, and so if I add those together, then that means that the first 250 cupcakes cost 462.50, and then the 125 is for any cupcakes that are over 250. Okay. So now let's go ahead and use that piecewise function to answer some questions. So if a woman orders 10 dozen cupcakes for her child's birthday party, what would the total cost be for her order? So 10 dozen cupcakes is 10 times 12 because there's 12 in a dozen. So that's 120 cupcakes. So I'm trying to evaluate the piecewise function for 120. So 120 cupcakes would be between 100 and 250, so that means we're using the middle piece. So we're going to say we have 100 cupcakes at $2 each, would be $200, plus 175 for 120 minus 100. So that's 100 cupcakes for $2 each, and then we're going to have 20 cupcakes for 175 each. So 200 plus 175 for 20 cupcakes is $235. So we're going to say the total cost for 10 dozen cupcakes is $235. If a couple orders 300 cupcakes for their wedding reception, what would the total cost be for their order? So here we're just going to plug in 300 because they told us how many cupcakes they wanted. And 300 is more than 250, so I'm going to plug it in down here. So we have 462.50 plus $1.25 times 300 cupcakes minus 250. So remember, this number says I had $2 per cupcake for the first 100, plus $175 per cupcake for the next 150 cupcakes. That's what that came from. And then we're adding to that $125 for the next 50 cupcakes. So anything over 250, plus $125 for the next 50 cupcakes. And that's $525 total. So the total cost for 300 cupcakes is $525. All right, a rental home on Airbnb rents for $100 a night for the first 3 nights, $90 a night for the next 3 nights, and $80 a night for each remaining night. The total cost T is a function of the number of nights X that a guest stays. Write a piecewise defined function for T. So X is the number of nights and T as a function x is going to be the total cost. And so we'll go ahead and draw this kind of number line thing. So if you stay 0 nights up to 3 nights, then you pay $100 per night. The next 3 nights, so nights 4, 5, and 6, the next 3 nights are $90 per night. And then any night after 6 is going to be $80 per night. And in theory, apparently you could stay forever. So they don't give us a highest number of nights you're allowed to stay. Okay, so if we start writing this, you can see again we've got 3 pieces. The first piece is $100 a night, and so the number of nights, these are our x values down here, 0 to 3, 3 to 6, $100 a night. So we would say for the first one it'd be $100 per night, and that is 4 x values that are between 0 and 3. So if x is between 0 and 3, and if you don't stay for any nights, then you don't pay anything, and if you stay for 3 nights, you're going to pay 100 times 3, which is 300. Okay, so for the next round, we're going to say if you have stayed 4 nights, then you've already done 3 nights at $100 each. Plus, now you're going to do $90 a night for however many nights you did over 3. So here we're going to say x minus 3. So if you did 4 nights, you're going to do 4 minus 3 is 1. So you had 1 night at the $90 option. If you stay for 5 nights, then you would do 3 nights at 100, and 5 minus 3 is 2 nights at 90. So this is going to be 4 nights between 3 and 6. So I'm saying you can't equal 3 because 3 nights would be the lower price, or the upper price, I guess. And then anything between 3 and 6 is what is going to give you that $90 a night. And then for anything above 6, you're going to say you must have spent 3 nights at 100. You must have spent 3 more nights at 90. So this is the first 3 nights. This represents nights 4, 5, and 6. And then we would have $80 a night for anything above 6. All right, so I left you a little bit of room at the top of the next page so that we could simplify this. So you can go ahead and just flip your page over. I'll keep this up on the screen. So that means that t of x is 100x if x is between 0 and 3. Then this would be $300 plus 90 times x minus 3 if the number of nights is between 3 and 6. And then 300, so $100 a night for 3 nights plus $90 a night for the next 3 nights. That's $570. So the third option would be $570 for those first 6 nights plus $80 a night for anything past 6. Okay. So what is the cost of staying 5 nights, and what is the cost of staying 10 nights? So we're going to say t of 5. I'd have to plug 5 in right here, and so that's going to be 300 plus 90 times 5 minus 3. And then 10 nights would be t of 10. Is 570 plus 80 times 10 minus 6. Okay, so I can go ahead and plug those in. So $480, $890. So it costs $480 to stay 5 nights. and $890 for 10. Okay, I think I'll leave the video there, so we will have 2 more examples to do in class.